Peace and love. Peace and love. What up, though? What it do? What's popping? What's cracking? Let's talk about it. Let's build like this and this. I can't see it enough. The light is glaring. When I went upstairs, it was glowing in the dark. We need some. I see some Florida water. I don't see no sage. Clean the air everywhere. Get your sage, get your Florida water, get the sprinkle in it. You know, is my music too loud? Is my music too loud? Somebody watching. Is my music too loud? Let me know. Is it drowning me out? It's making me want to flow. I ain't gonna do it though. This ain't the time for a rhyme, I promise you. Hold tight though, give me 1 minute. Hold on. Hold on. I'm doing a winter solstice, a Christ mass. Is it a Christ mass or a Christ sass? It's always both. Unfortunately, on this plane that we exist in this form on, you can't have one or the other. What they say, joy and pain, like sunshine and rain. You say what April showers bring May flowers. You know, do seasons exist in other galactical realms, or is that something that we just get to enjoy? Because I enjoy 4 seasons. I don't want it to be hot, 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 hot all the time. And nobody wanted, I don't want to deal, we don't want to deal with snow and ice all the time. You know what I mean? Let me see. I ain't getting no answer on the music. Hold tight. It's too loud for me, so I'm about to take it down a notch or two. Switch it up. Back to the trap music. You know what it's about to do? About to go donuts. Are you kidding me? Take it down. All right, so there I go. What it do? What it do? Let's talk about it for a minute. You know, I was listening to some um medical information. You know, you got your respiratory system, you got your nervous system, and all of this and all of that, right? And it made me think about my brother, well, one of my brothers and my nephews. in particular. Like when it comes to cars, like they master that shit. It don't matter. Your transmission can be out. You can need a new engine slash motor. You might need new rotors. You might need an alternator. Whatever it is, when it comes to a car, they've mastered that shit in the same way that they mastered being auto mechanics. Is the same way they could have mastered being a doctor. Like, just think about it. Just think about the components that it takes for a car to function. You know, you need some form of power, right? Be it the battery or the alternator. Same way with your heart, and you know what I'm talking about? And I can apply this to a little bit of everybody. You know, we talk about talents and being so-called blessed with talents, or I'll just say it blessed because you know we know the word blessed means curse and all of this and all of that, but all spells and spelling and curses aren't negative. Think about it. You know, maybe you putting something together specifically to affect or even send positive energy in somebody's direction. You know what I'm saying? Everything that's done up under casting spells or whatever, even though, you know, nothing beats action, physical action, you being hands on. You know what I mean? Like, you can wish all you like. The same way you can believe something is gonna manifest. If you didn't put that work in, then you know, I don't know what you're looking for. We talk about luck, you know, talk about luck. Um, where there are things that occur, you know, that were like, I wouldn't say a miracle was something that is unexpected, because when you're looking, when people are particularly looking for a miracle, it's something that they're putting in the air that they need. So I don't want to put that with that. But like I said, I was thinking about all the different systems within the body and how they function, and how, you know, various physicians and surgeons and whatnot, you know, what they specialize in. Excuse me. When it comes to the body and your health, and like I said, I could apply that to my brother, and my two oldest nephews. My third nephew too, you know, baby boy. He know a lot about cars too. They all know a lot about cars. But like I say, when you compare one to the other, it's like, okay, you know some mechanics that know how to do certain things. They don't know how to do everything. You know what I'm saying? When you know how to do everything pertaining to a car, the same way with the human anatomy, if you will. You know, you have doctors that specialize in particular areas, you know, when it comes to the body or whatnot. So I wanted to talk about that, and I wanted to talk about we're gonna get to the red, white, and blue equals you, equals to me and you. I mean, you can put that together easily. We think about the red, white, and blue, you know, your blood cells and whatnot. We're gonna get to that mid-riff, but right now I want to talk about 21 Savage. I saw something like similar. I guess we would call it an infomercial or something like that that plays on a fair book or whatnot. And he's speaking about how, you know, he stopped wearing the flashy jewelry and the gold or whatnot because, you know, during this time now where he's, you know, everybody is on a financial literacy, right? And of course, he's promoting that as well. But he's saying that he's around billionaires and multimillionaires and they don't wear any jewelry, period. So, you know, I guess he was more so um, basically saying, without saying, hey, I wasted my money on a bunch of jewelry when I could have bought this, that, and the third, or I could have invested my money in this, that, and the third. That's not how he breaking it down. He breaking it down like, look, I be around rich people, and rich people don't wear all of that gold and stuff like that. So, what rich people in particular is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? And particularly, I would, I think it's safe to assume that he's speaking about white people. Let's keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? He's around them, and they're not wearing a bunch of jewelry and showing their wealth in that way. They not doing it. They rocking the Tom Ford and whatnot. And it makes you think about the transformation that you have seen Jay-Z make the same way. He's not wearing a bunch of so-called gaudy jewelry and things like this and that. He's wearing the suits and the ties, But I say this in opposition to what I called him earlier. I called him Savage 21. His name is 21 Savage. In opposition, I say this: when it comes to the gold and the diamonds or whatnot, that's a representation of us. You know what I mean? Like it goes with us. It goes with the legacies that was, you know, obviously not passed down in that way, because we're going to other nationalities to make these purchases for this jury or whatnot. But that's not the point. The point is, it's a reason why we're attracted to the jury, and that we wear the gold and the diamonds and the platinum, and for some of us the silver, and so on and so forth, and the various gemstones, and what I'm talking about, various crystals or whatever. I just took some stuff off. We making it ourselves. But once again, like I said, of course you're not gonna go to where the so-called elite billionaire and multimillionaires are hanging out that aren't from where you from. And like I said, we are attracted to these things for a reason. Just like with the tattoos, we know this is some ancient shit. You know what I'm saying? So did he didn't mention that, but like I said, that's our shit anyway. So I wouldn't want to get away from something that's a part of my culture in order to blend in. What are you gonna do? Once again, are you gonna play the spook who sat by the door and pretend that you're blending in with them? And then, once you get what you are seeking to acquire, at that point, are you gonna say, you know, I don't know. I don't. Of course not. That's not the purpose. The purpose, I would assume is yes, to be aligned with those that could open up doors that the brothers and the sisters in the hood cannot open up for you. You understand? Because we don't run that shit. We don't own it. No different than a 21 Savage and you know what I'm saying, doesn't have ownership within, once again, a Columbia, a Warner Brothers, an Electra Records, and so on and so forth. Whoever the major labels is today, for the most part, these young men and women make their own way, you know, as to how their music is streamed, or how they're selling it and utilizing the internet and whatnot in order to, build up a fan base and so on and so forth, to build up a brand. They're, doing a lot of the work on their own. But just imagine turning down a $5 or $10 million loan. We don't turn down $100,000 loans and $200,000 loans and $70,000 and $80,000 loans to get these homes and these cars. So yeah, you can say I wouldn't sign that, or I wouldn't deal with that, because once again, last week we talked about McNeil making complaints that he, hasn't got a check. You know, we listened to Big Sean, what, have some of the same complaints. You know what I'm saying? So once again, it's like, you borrow money from a bank in order to open up a business or complete a project. And once the project is completed and you reach your financial goal and you're able to satisfy that debt, at that point, as an artist, they turn around and be like, well, you actually don't own that music. You got this 20 years, you got to wait, or whatever it is, in order to not just only regain your masters, but as far as points and royalties, and you know what I mean, like who goes, it was a time where, yeah, you may have stepped to a label with management, but having a entertainment attorney and being versed in contract law, and most people aren't that uh, uh intellectually, smooth on none of that right now currently. Although you get to recognize the do's and the don'ts in any business that you participate in, for a long time. A lot of these artists have been around for a long time, and they've witnessed other artists be taken advantage of. Even if you just look at those who were exposed by way of the press earlier on, like a TLC, like a Tony Braxton. Up there go two LaFace Ayers, the artist right there already. But I'm just saying, just not what we came here really to talk about. I just had a various amount of things on my mind, and our red, white, and blue once again reigns true for us as a people. If you new to this type of information, then when I say red, white, and blue, and we get to talking about your red, white, and blue blood cells, and it begins to sound like, okay, here goes some conspiracy theorist type shit. But in reality, when you look at the various secret societies and orders, they don't just teach this type of shit. They live by it, and they run this corporation, this criminal enterprise known as United States of America, by those set of secret things that will remain secret to those who aren't privileged to that elite shit. You understand? They want you to be somewhere on that ladder, or up under that ladder, or holding the ladder up, or standing on your neck or your back. You know what I'm talking about? That's just how they function. And we, like, okay, we had an argument about the actual minority and the actual majority. And most brothers and sisters who deal with this information refuse to believe that the so-called Europeans outnumber us in, we'll just say North America. I don't want to say the Americas, because of course they don't outnumber us if you're talking about America, North, Central, and South America all together as one continent. But if we're talking about within this territory that they, mapped out, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. With historically, when we look at what we face, does it make sense that we outnumber them in what we're calling North America? To me, some of the shit that y'all, put out there, it's not even fucking logical. Then you wonder why people, you know, give four thumbs down to said so-called conscious community when you get to talking dumb shit. Do you think that this is just, I could be wrong. That's another thing. I don't know everything, and I'll be the first to admit that. But when you saying crazy ass shit, you make all of us look crazy. You know what I'm saying? Certain things, like I said, we came in an era where this information came to us by way of the grassroots movements, as to where you either had to be at one of these lectures to know about any of a Bobby Wright, a Bobby Hemmett. You know what I'm talking about? To know about, uh, you know what I mean? As far as, I'm not talking about the elders who put out an abundance of literature, like a Dr. Ben or a Dr. John Henry Clark, and so on and so forth. I'm talking about the grassroots lectures, like a Phil Valentine. Um, Come on, y'all, help me out. I don't see no comments and shit in there. But what I'm trying to say to you is, either you was there, or you had a VHS tape or DVD or something like that. It didn't come by way like hip hop music. Although some of these lectures were on cassette tape as well. I've been neglecting to mention that every time I get on here. But yeah, it, we You talking about an era where the internet didn't exist, so it's not like we could fact check everything that everybody said. You understand? If it resonated with you, if it sounded crazy, more than likely, what do they say? Truth is stranger than fiction. It would be like, okay, that never did sound right to me. So what this brother or sister is sharing with me kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? And if you found a way to verify that information, then you dealt with it. Now, the repeating or regurgitating is what they call it. Information, just because it's kind of like some of the grassroots information that we kind of clung to. you know Certain shit you just can't, you know what I mean. I guess I have to do me, because you will never hear me say, okay, we outnumber them. I feel like if we outnumbered them once again in North America, then things wouldn't be how they are. So separate me from others. And it does not mean, just because I don't agree with that a particular brother or sister who has made that statement, that I don't have love for that brother or sister. It's just we disagree on it. You know what I'm saying? I understand the art of dialogue, which doesn't cause for me to be disrespectful to you, because I just, what you saying to me, don't make sense. But I'll listen. I'll listen. The problem is, when a lot of this shit get proven wrong, you know, people accept it. It's like, we'll accept being done in by a system created to intentionally destroy us and suck us dry like a damn vampire. But when it comes to correcting, see, that's the problem. The changing of the thinking will ultimately give way to a change in behavior. All right, number one. So that's gonna bring me to number two for the evening. you know it's a big push towards the Hebrew Israelite way of life, or ideology, if you will, right? Within the hip hop community, I got mad love for Chris, who you call KRS-One, Nas. As of late, Kanye West, he's been on it, which is causing I call him Little Shine, my bad, Big Shine from the D. I just said that because it's the Little Shine too from back in the day. If you are old head like me, you know what it is when it comes to hip hop and who he was or whatnot. But anyway, let me not get distracted. Now, for the most part, the Hebrew Israelites that we're familiar with will tell you that they aren't descendants of Ham. They're descendants of Shem. Not Ham, Shem, specifically Shem. But they claim Abraham, right? Or Ibrahim. Abraham, the same way as the Muslims, right? Abraham, not Abraham. Even if you say Ibrahim, you still not saying Shem. Abraham, Ham. I'm not barring them from claiming Shem. You understand? Like, all of that is good, but once again, that's just one grade or one degree of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Don't trap yourself in that shit. All good and well to know it's a lot of morally sound. I wouldn't say, yeah, books. I could say books within the Holy Bible or the King James version of the Bible. These things that are morally correct, we don't take issue with. There are other things that we take issue with. Like, first of all, it's almost saying it's almost like saying I'm black, but I'm not that kind of black, which to somebody like me makes no goddamn sense. You know what I'm saying? We're the blacks from this black. Like, wait, and speaking of, hold on, let me take me down for a minute. Just that statement. It's quite a few statements that I've heard this evening that I've said multiple times, but I know for a fact what's going on with this mouse. I just put I know for a fact if you hear it come from somebody else, you might feel a different way about it. Where is that? It's on here somewhere. What in the blood clot?
Americans love their.
That's messed up because I don't know, have no idea exactly where he said that. But you throughout the years, we hear Moors talk about nationality, right? You heard it. Oh, that's what it was. The black. So, oh, where is it? Oh, I'm gonna have to go back. Let me see.
Used this way in the long ago, and you can tell because it has no security built into it. Okay, so there's this neat trick that most ID numbers use where they can check themselves to see if they're invalid. The simplest way is to have the last couple digits match the sum of the others. All kinds of ID cards and barcodes do this because it makes it impossible to enter an incorrect number in a computer and makes it harder for fraudsters to guess valid numbers. This is why, if you try to buy something online by guessing a credit card number, the website knows it's invalid before you even click buy. But because the Social Security number started life in the long ago, it's just a number with no self-checking security built in. Worse, if you're born pre-2011, it's not that hard to just guess most of the number. The first three digits are the state where the parents applied for the card, and the last four digits just count up in order, and the middle digits follow a regular pattern. So you can take your number, subtract one, and that's a valid number of someone who was probably born in the same hospital as you around the same time. Thus, a fraudster who knows your time and location of birth can probably get the first five digits by just looking them up on a chart. Institutions ask for the last four digits as a code to identify you as you, which means it's not that hard to put together your number from a security leak anywhere or just by connecting a few puzzle pieces. The physical card itself is no help either, just a literal piece of cardboard depending on when it was issued, not even laminated. The Social Security Department used to print not to be used for identification on the cards as a futile attempt to stop institutions from asking for them as IDs because there's nothing identifying a person on the card. But eventually they gave up and removed these words because unlike passports or a driver's license, you can assume all Americans will have this one card. All this means your social security card and number probably have less security than your library card, while being vastly more important. So it fails at being a secure number, it fails at being a good ID card, but at least it is universal, which is why people use it. Oh, hello, Asterisk, my old friend. No, of course not. This program isn't actually universal. Not everyone has a Social Security account number, and not everyone pays into the program. If you want to get out of paying, you'll just need to first never have received any Social Security benefits and give up your rights to getting any in the future, which seems fair. In addition, you must also be a member of a religion opposed to the idea of Social Security, usually because it's a kind of insurance, and insurance is a kind of gambling. That's harder, but you could always just start your own religion if you were really serious about avoiding taxes. But your new religion must also provide for its elderly and dependent members, which means you have to recreate a Social Security program of sorts in your religion while also being against Social Security. But if creating a contradictory religion doesn't daunt you, lastly, it must have existed continuously since 1950, which is a giveaway that this exception was written pretty much exclusively for the Amish and Mennonites, and kills dead your plans unless you're willing to undergo a series.
And obviously for Moors, did you not hear the qualifications? But let me go back because I saw. Hold on. Here we go.
Super important because it's the key to the government and banks identifying you as you. And losing control of it is the worst kind of identity theft that can happen. So, how did Americans end up with a national ID number that isn't one and a card terribly unfit to identify? It all started in the Great Depression of long, long ago when the government created the Social Security program, a kind of mandatory pension. Citizens would be required to pay in during their working lives and withdraw in their retirement. The idea being that even if past you didn't save for the sunset years of future you, the eventually old current you,
Forget all that. Let's get here what we came here to do.
no.
In Israel and Egypt and Africa.
When I say Chinese, I want you to scream out the nation that's associated with it. For example, if I say Chinese, you gotta say what? China. All right, let's say with authority. When I say Chinese, you say what? All right, that's just a test right here. So here we go. Chinese, Russian, Italian, German, Swedish, Korean, Egyptian, Nigerian, Black.
Wait a minute, I don't think y'all caught that. Let's go back. Let's go back one more again. Maybe I need to adjust the volume a little bit.
When I say Chinese, I want you to scream out the nation that's associated with it. For example,
So he said when he say Chinese, he wants the crowd to shout out the nation that Chinese are associated with.
if I say Chinese, you're gonna say what? China. All right, let's say with authority. When I say Chinese, you say what? All right, that's just a test right here. So here we go. Chinese, Russian, Italian, German, Swedish, Korean, Egyptian, Nigerian, Black.
So he says black and nobody has an answer. He says Nigerian, they say Nigeria. He says Russian, they say Russia. He says Italian, they say Italy. What else he say? Said Swedish, they said Sweden. He said black, nobody had an answer. Okay? Nobody has had an answer. And at this current time, it seems as though everybody's searching. They searching for nationality that they was born with already. You came out the womb with it. You came out the water. Hence the term more. More. Once again, you came from the water. Mama water had to break before you came. So when we talk about ancient terms or ancient identities, going with ancient ideologies. It's so many of them. I was looking for I don't know, at first I said Hindi, but Sanskrit, a word for energy. And the word, what was the word? Is it still up there? Yeah, the word, um I'm looking, see, they're showing me the Sanskrit spelling. Show me the English. It says English detected. Oh, come on, don't play with me. Okay, it's Virya, Virya. This is the Sanskrit word. Virya is a Buddhist term commonly translated as energy, and it says diligence, enthusiasm, or effort. Right. So I typed the word Virya. Should I show this to y'all? I think I should show it to y'all so you can be with me while I'm doing what I had did. So let me see something right quick. Bavaria, once again, Virya, Virya. So I'm gonna share this with y'all full screen right quick. And this still, ooh, terror to the eyes. Here it is, right here. See this term? Can Virya. What is energy called in Sanskrit? Once again, Virya. So when I went to see a definition for this word in English, it says semen. Which makes sense if you got knowledge of self. You know what I mean? And it says semen, then it makes sense. But I still had to laugh at the same time because that's that spark of energy. You know what I'm saying? That get at that ovum or that egg and wakes it up. You know what I'm talking about? And it also shoots you up with 23 chromosomes to go with your mama 23 chromosomes. You know what I mean? And perfecto is what had happened. But yeah, Virya, Virya. I just thought that was crazy. But you can look it up yourself. Virya. And when you look it up in English, it's gonna say semen. It's not gonna say energy, but it is saying energy when it says semen. Yay, okay. So what we got? Boom. How did I even get to that before I got to everything else? I don't know what had happened. I guess the people was irritating me with the conversation on Bluetooth, the Bluetooth. But we talk about we learn that science changes. Once again, for the 100,000th time, y'all probably heard me say this, but when I say science changes, I usually use the example of um, your hair and your nails as dead cells. Now, during the 80s and a portion of the 90s, according to the biologists and all of these people like this and that, archaeologists and such things, they taught that your hair and your nails keep growing after you perish, right? Now, if you took biology or something like that in the 80s or, the first half of the 90s, this is what they were teaching us. But here in 2021, they teach that would be pseudo. Ain't that a bitch? You put it in textbooks and taught us all of this shit for 50 years. But now if I say, when you pass over, when you perish, your hair and your fingernails keep growing, and here comes some conscious person with a Superman shirt on talking about some, that's pseudo. But brother, sister, you was taught that shit the same way I was taught that shit. But once again, in today's age of science and technology, that has been proven to be false. Now we know that your hair and nails do not continue to grow after you perish. What is happening is that what is left, the cells that were left, are what immersing out of you. How do you say that? They are, whatever's left is what is coming out. That's it. It doesn't continue to produce, So once again, science is ever growing and expanding and correcting, right? Similar to, your updates for your downloads and shit like that. When we talk about updating your information, anytime we bring something to the table and we get someone yelling out, well, that's pseudo. Okay, let's deal with it. Don't immediately attack someone as if you are the know all, be all, see all. You know what I'm talking about? If that be so, that be so, you the know all, see all, be all. Well, see me these goddamn lotto numbers, so I can go spend all of that shit in less than a week, and everything that I acquire, you know what I mean, will be everlasting. How about that? Won't be on no Benzes. And no, wow, you can't even say Benz today. You got to say Lamborghini, Ferrari, Maserati. You know what I'm talking about? So on. It won't be on that, so don't worry about it. But you can't. You're not the know all, be all, see all. We all have to get updates, and what y'all call it. Y'all do y'all shadow work, and you get your little updates. When you don't get those updates, once again, you stay stuck in the second grade. You let one monotheistic jealous God take control of your mind and your body and fill you with hate. You know what I mean? Only love for him and hate for anybody that don't believe it's on. Do you know how fucking retarded that shit sound? See, you missed your updates and your upgrades, so now you got these glitches and shit going on with you. You're getting viruses within your device. That's what had happened to you. And you trying to put that virus on everybody else when we already recognize the virus now, because guess what? We've seen those who are responsible for the creation. We went from talking about the Council of Nicaea to the Coptics to the Gnostics to the, what do you want? You know what I'm saying? These societies seek to do exactly what they did with their ideologies and their theology. Once again, and when you get your education from a university, that puts you in a position to be pastor, master. Pastor and master sound so much alike, don't it? It's a pastor. Is he a pastor or your master? Since he ain't said you ain't gonna do it, you ain't gonna bust a move. But uh, again, you begin to get these glitches and these viruses, and because you're stuck, and you know what I mean. You refuse to move, so it's just nothing but how the screen used to go off on TV and it be snow on TV long, 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 long time ago. Before HBO, long, long, long time ago. Them little glitches then got to you. You know what I'm saying? To where you can't even comprehend anything outside of what was it, VHF and UHF, or help me out. There's some older people on here. Good looking on the likes. We like the likes. We love the likes. Hit us with the likes. Hit us with the subscriptions and this and that. Especially the comments, because I'll be needing help. I'll be the first to tell you, help me, help. But again, let's talk about the red, white, and blue in you. And specifically, what's with the red, white, and the blue? What's the significance? Once again, I don't want to bore you. I don't want to give you a bunch of metaphysical shit that has already been, dropped in your lap. I want you to factor that in with, let me see where I'm at. Factor in what you already know about the red, the white, and the blue, right? And let's deal with the fact that the blood, this blood, it's specifically when we say red, white, and blue, instantaneously you're thinking about the Star Spangled Banner, or what y'all call, what else they call it? Call it a flag, but specifically the stars and the stripes. Now if it's a representation of the blood and the cells of the blood, it seems to me within a corporate structure that they have invented, they put ownership and brand on every goddamn thing to where most people, those who don't function that way, like a Jay-Z or an Alicia Keys and so on and so forth, people yearn to be successful to the point of having a brand. As a people, what we're not recognizing is these various celebrities who actually are the brand themselves, that they have been branded, i.e., in the eyes of most of us, they've been compromised, right? Because they have been branded by, we can just say, the elite, those who, how do I say, without getting a plug put on us, you know what I mean? Y'all know these elite families exist and have existed. Like for instance, I've been on a the Jeffersons kick. I've been watching it. I've been watching the Jeffersons every day. I bullshit y'all not. I even had Haru sit down and watch the Jeffersons with me today. And what's his name? Norman Lear. You know what I mean? Y'all know Good Times, the Jeffersons. What's the name of Archie Bunker in them show? You know what I'm talking about? Like, as we was watching it, we noticed it's a taken in the background. Uh, at the beginning of one of the episodes, Wheezy or Louise comes out and she has like a scarf wrapped around her and she's talking about something about the Sultan, and you know what I'm talking about? The same way Norman Lear put the melanated or the black Jesus, if you will, on the wall in Good Times. You know what I'm talking about? And what is his nationality? What is his descent? You know what it is? It's one that we can't say because if we do, we end up like Nick Cannon and whoever else. You know what I'm talking about? So, um, like I said, it's different when we say red is for the blood, uh, red is for the blood, black is for the people, and green is for the land. When we're talking about red, white, and blue, you're specifically just talking about the blood. So when we talk about parasites and vampires and how they not only usurp the labor of the people, but the resources of the earth, and then create this monetary system as if everything that we can put our hands on didn't come, from a resource that belongs to all of us. I don't care if you're talking about an ink pen or a nuke. In order for them to manifest these things, where does a piece of paper come into play when you are creating glass? A piece of paper didn't have anything to do with it. The piece of paper didn't create a flame. You are aware that you can create fire without purchasing a big lighter or what you call them, barbecue lighters. Now I know what I'm talking about. It's a way to produce fire without utilizing a Federal Reserve note or a debit card. It's a way, like I don't know what the fuck is going on with us. And I'm saying us because you can include me in that equation. Like, I know it's a way to, I hate to even do this, but I know it's a way to create this, right? Without me going to the store, to the liquor store, to put money in the thing. See, I'm watching my language, y'all, because you know what I'm about to say. But the same way, I've made wine before. You make wine before? Hmm? You ever made an alcoholic beverage on your own? You ever made a tonic in order to cure. Oh, I can't say cure, huh, y'all? In order to soothe, or I could say sweat out, can't I? You ever made a hot toddy, any of this shit on your own? You know, y'all deal with the turmeric and the cayenne and all of this. You know what I'm talking about? These are things. A piece of paper now, if you have to purchase it from somebody else because you weigh in Alaska and this is not where this particular plant or berry or wherever is grown, it's once upon a time. Say you lived in Alaska and it was something in particular from Hawaii, a certain berry or something they had in Hawaii. Oh man, I'm about to start laughing every time I hear Hawaii or yeah. That's Ricky Smiley ass got me like that, y'all. On that Hawaii. Spell it H-A Hawaii. um, what you would do? It wasn't a matter of a piece of green paper with a bunch of numbers and signatories, a treasurer of the United States, and a secretary of treasury, and a bunch of slave numbers on it. You know what I mean? Because you don't utilize the people, as collateral for your debt to this bank that you owe, that you $28 trillion in debt to, and all this and that. Point being is this: I'm in Alaska, you in Hawaii, and I want these berries, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you some of this salmon, send you some of this good salmon, or we gonna trade. I'm gonna give you some of this salmon, you gonna give me some berries. Even swap, right? In other words, wealth. We are so ancient that wealth was never about a fucking piece of paper or really a bar of gold, because you can't eat that shit. You can't. You can't eat it. You could take pieces of paper and burn them in the fire and to create some heat. But would that be wise when you can use those pieces of paper to virtually set your own shit up? Like, think about this. There are various islands that you and I, or many of us, aren't familiar with. It's a whole bunch of islands, right? That are not anywhere near what you call England or Spain or Germany, right? But these islands, I don't even have to say specifically in the Pacific uh ocean or whatnot area, like Fiji, so on and so forth. I'm not talking about Fiji though. I'm talking about all of these islands that are not occupied, right? That are for sale. And how the fuck is England selling the island that's all the way over here somewhere? How the fuck is Spain claiming to own the island that's all the way the fuck over here somewhere? That's for sale right now. So say, because my plan would be to be not just on an island somewhere the fuck away from everybody, but there would be mandatory um assets as far as military and airport and things like this and that, submarines, all kind of shit, not just in the way of um protecting, but in the way of disasters, where we have somewhere else. Because when you're talking about an island, I mean, what type of underground bunker can you create other than what I just said? Some type of submarine, some underground, no, I'm talking about some underground boating. I'm saying, like I said, submarine. I don't know what other, you know. Not talking about, oh, we got a submarine so we can shoot typhoons. That's not what I'm saying, y'all. Don't take my words and twist them up, because we good for that. But back to my point, you know, this will have to be about acceptance. Now, typically, if they find an island that's so called abandoned, you know, that's no paperwork according to them. This is something that they founded and they put their commercial flag in that bitch or banner or whatnot and claiming it as their own, right? As to where you had islands that were populated. You see, peace be upon her, what they did to the last queen of Hawaii, speaking of, which is no laughing matter. The same with Cuba, the same with Baricua or Puerto Rico, Puerto Riches, like what the fuck? America. Something got to do something with riches because we know that's what that word Rico means. You know, I made that connection a long time ago and shared it with you all. So for everybody you see using it, here go the woman who created it right here. So, not created it, but I was the first that I know of to continuously talk about that shit and capitalize the R in America, the R in Africa. You know what I'm talking about? Um, anyway, like once again, it's a matter of acceptance. If the island is abandoned, or whether or not the island is occupied and has an indigenous population of people already there, they will come in one or two or three ways. They'll come in, and put you in debt by way of some type of loan that the people could never pay back. Once again, because they don't deal with currency or trading and bartering was, which is seemed to be more of a feasible way of handling your affairs right now. You know what I mean? But whatever. Like I said, it don't matter if the island is fucking populated or not. They come in there with an agenda and a goal as colonists or conquistadors, y'all call it today capitalists. And you look at it and you say, well, they are so-called black capitalists. What do you think? It wasn't so-called black capitalists back then with their hands and shit too? Just not at the same rate. And then when you uh taking people away from what we refer to as nationality and you put them all in one box and call them black, negro, or color, that took the power away from those who were melanated, who were dealing in that dirty ass business, which is a good and a bad thing all at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, but for those who mix their blood, once again, a red, white, and blue, don't forget about what's the movie? I always forget that. Forget the movie. We know for a fact that these so-called plantation owners, you know, were literally raping their so-called property, melanated women, and thus a lot of times these children who came from these relations, a lot of them they would send them away to London, what to study at Cambridge and all of this other shit back there. You know what I'm saying? Send them away to get educated and then bring them back. And here we go with the light skin and dark skin. I was just looking at the Gaddafi shit, you know what I'm talking about, and him creating or attempting to create like an African currency that encompassed all of the nations, all of the countries within the continent of Africa, as well as other things that he was doing. But if you look at it from north to south of what we're calling Africa, right? The continent, specifically those in the northern hemisphere, tend to be bright and everybody else is dark. And it seems it is not a scene because these are the, Libya was getting mad money via petrodollar. And I probably shouldn't even say petrodollar, but you know what I'm talking about. The wealth of that land is predominantly, their number one what do they call that? Their gross domestic product. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Will be the oil. And they exploited the hell out of it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm looking at, we talk about a color or a caste system. We look at India. You got the untouchables over there. And we over here, this brings light to the Willie Lynch shit. Be it true or not. Because like I say, we found out later on that things were found out to be false. Okay, they were talking about the language that was being used in the Willie Lynch letter being non-existent in the time in which they're talking about. And I remember, peace be upon him, Bobby L would always say, Willie Lynch of 1712 and Willie Lynch of 1776. Correct me, y'all, if you were a dojo student. And I would bet a whole lot on that I'm right, that's what my teacher used to say. But once again, they were saying that the language contained in that letter, wouldn't span back to that era of time. That was some language that would be used in the 50s or the 60s, 1950s and the 60s. You're talking about the 1700s. But once again, we see the effects of it. That's why, I try to stay away from the term light skin, dark skin. And I definitely don't do the good and bad hair and all of that other shit, because that's another way to separate us. You know, why don't they show us? And I'm not saying it don't exist. I'm sure when you're talking about the Western countries, or what they're calling Africa, you see a variation of complexions. But when they go from showing the president of Uganda to showing Muammar Gaddafi, you know what I mean? And then they're showing the people, uh, as far as the military and the other political dignitaries of Libya versus the dignitaries and the political figures in the Uganda and the Congo and even Nigeria and some of the places on the west, you see a difference in what they look like. You understand? As opposed to, we don't see this as an advantage, but which the label black can never be an advantage. But over here, we're a mixture of complexions and textures of these coils that we have. You know what I'm saying? And we rock them in various ways. I'll just put it like that. But it was just something to think about. You know what I'm saying? Like this, they have the same issues that we have. It just seems to be in a lot of areas the shit for them is worse. And you can say I'm incorrect all you like, but I've seen the shitty beach of Liberia. You know what I'm saying? Where the people are defecating on the beach because they don't have the plumbing systems and shit like that, the sewage systems and shit like that we have over here. And that's not a knock. At the same time, I've seen what a lot of Egypt looks like, abandoned, and the people are living in extreme poverty, you know. And I'm not saying that we're doing 100 grand over here, because we know that's not the case. But put us in our proper place as a people. If we can do that, that will be the beginning of us accomplishing things that we thought may not be possible. With the assassinations of our leaders, with um their slave patrol officers still in full effect, it seemed like this shit is just, especially right now that we have this shit floating around. The C word. You can't say the C word. You better not say jab and stab, smash and grab. Better not say none of that shit. But I'm gonna share one more thing with y'all before I bounce up out of here. Like I said, red, white, and blue. Your blood. What is shit at? Let me take this down because we didn't look at that. We're gonna look at we're gonna look at that for a minute. I talked about the nervous system and the respiratory system and so on and so forth. Here we go with the red, white, and blue. Question: is human blood clear without red? What gives blood its red color? You know what I mean? Is that when the oxygen, the gas form of water And why am I so prone to say the gas form of water? What liquid water is going to be the water form of water? And ice is going to be the solid form of what am I talking about? Anyway, these are the images for the red, white, and the blue blood cells. So it was a reason. Once again, you claim ownership of people, right? So essentially, their blood will belong to you, no matter what blood type. The ultimate branding. People be worried about the golden fringes. You know what I'm talking about? Around the flag. Hold on, let's deal with the red, the white, and the blue. Let's deal with the Star Spangled Banner in its proper context. Let's start with 1811, 1812. The purpose of writing the song, or it got to be a song because it had multiple verses. But so could a poem. I don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? It's just when you read it, if you like me and you looked at the Christian Black Codes and you read them, you looked at the Star Spangled Banner in its entirety and you read it. You have to be a strong individual not to cry after reading that shit. On everything. On everything. Really gotta be strong. Hold on. So, bam, let's get the Amazon shit out the way. Let me see. I gotta unshare this for a minute, y'all. Now, Amazon, they got some spooky shit going on, y'all. When they talk about zombie apocalypse and we think about the Night of the Living Dead, the Return of the Living Dead, what's the TV show? What Walking Dead. Uh what was the movie 40 something and 28 days? And for me back in the day it was a movie called Demons. Let me quit playing, but this shit ain't even funny. Let me how we do this, because I'm please let me be able to find this gonna piss me off if I can't find it. What it is Amazon has within their policies and codes and stipulations some crazy shit up in there about a zombie apocalypse. And you know what, I don't even gotta pull up old boy video, because when I went to try and actually look at their codes and stuff myself, I put it in because this is something. Here we go. So this is the Amazon terms of service 4210. Once again, this is the Amazon terms of service 42.10. Trying. Let me see which one. So this is from February 18th, 2021. Boom. So once again, this is Amazon terms of service 42.10. Acceptable use, safety critical systems. Use of the lumberyard materials must comply with the AWS acceptable use policy, which is the Amazon services. Boom. The lumberyard materials are not intended for use with life critical or safety critical systems, such as use in operation of medical equipment, automated transportation systems, autonomous vehicles, aircraft or air traffic control, nuclear facilities, manned spacecraft, or military use in connection with live combat. However, this restriction will not apply in the event of the occurrence of certified by the United States Centers for Disease Control or successor body of a widespread viral infection transmitted via bites or contact with bodily fluids that causes human corpses to reanimate and seek to consume living human flesh, brain, or nerve tissue, and is likely to result in the fall of organized civilization. So you're seeing somebody, they basically copied it and pasted. And this is Reddit. I want you to see this shit. Let's go full throttle right quick. I want you to see it specifically up under Amazon. So let's go back. December 10th, 2021. AWS service terms, which is Amazon. Come on, buddy. Boom. AWS service terms. Universal service terms. Applicable to all services. So we want to scroll down to, wow, that's a lot. It was 4310. Amazon simple email service. As you can see, this is they shit. This is from their site. If you familiar with this shit right here, you know this they shit. So we got a long way to scroll down, y'all. 4310. I'm at 45. So are they skipping over 4310? Huh? 4210. I wonder. I'm saying 4310. So let's read it from them, and I'm gonna skip past the acceptable use, safety critical, and the lumberyard materials. We're gonna get right to it. I should be zooming that too. What I do with the keyboard? What I push? CT. Okay. I messed up over here. It's still bigger than it was. Okay. Damn, it scrolled away from where I was at. Where we at? Okay, we coming up on it now. Boom. So here we go right here. Go back a little bit. This so long before it get to a period. It says, however, this restriction will not apply in the event of the occurrence certified by the United States Centers for Disease Control or successor body of a widespread viral infection transmitted via bites or contact with bodily fluids that causes human corpse to reanimate and seek to consume living human flesh, blood, brain, or nerve tissue, and is likely to result in the fall of organized civilization. What type of shit is this, once again, for Amazon to even have within their terms of service agreement? I'm just asking. I don't claim to know all, but to me, this don't make sense. You can't make it make sense. It don't make sense. I done kind of jacked up my screen. Yeah, I don't know how I did that, but I'm gonna have to pull that down because I done messed my screen up, y'all. I'll put it back in 1 second. Am I pushing the wrong button? Oh, am I going to? Okay. It did. It looked something like that, but now it's like super small. No, it wasn't that. I done messed up the other screen and it's not letting me go back to how it was. Alright, that looks familiar. So let me bring it back. Once again, Amazon terms of service. I guess that would be section 42.10. So now that I'm back on this side, if I zoom, I should be all good. Dang, that's okay. Go back. So if you want to verify this yourself, once again, this is Amazon terms of service. And look, they don't want me sharing this with y'all no way. Y'all know what it is. So let me take it down. Let's see what we supposed to be had doing. When we said what we had said. I'm not even doing that. Not after getting a strike from YouTube about what's his face album cover. But that was a couple dummy cops in there searching this guy who all he has on is some they look like biker shorts. But the cop is grabbing, yeah, pretty much. So something on here that was on lock that I wanted to share, and then I'm about to be out. Wasn't that? I don't see it, y'all. Maybe Facebook and they fact checker stole it. Yeah, I'm gonna give y'all a break because there's no way I can go in the direction of a particular conversation without pissing people off. And me pissing people off, is not a problem, but then it is a problem because people, you know what I mean? People, how do I say they, you know what I mean? If you got one or two people wishing you the worst of life, that's one thing. But when you got thousands based off of their own ignorance, they hating you because you ain't put up a Christmas tree, you're not celebrating Christmas, you don't want to participate in uh making the enemies of your ancestors wealthier, so you decide not to participate in this. You found out that Kwanzaa wasn't for you either, based on the inventor of such celebration, so you don't deal with that. Understood. That doesn't give someone else the right to hate you and feel as though you are outside of God's shining light. You don't deserve the light. You know. Don't forget now, y'all thumbing through a book that say a angel and a demon is the same thing, right? I'm just saying, and on that note, I'ma say peace. Deal with it another time. Peace and love.